Hey guys, welcome back to Life with Sheila, and I'm actually doing a sit-down video today. You guys are going to get plenty of vlogs and such with Vlogust starting. So today I really wanted to touch base, especially before school started. Ooh, my notes are stuck to me. Especially before school starts and we get these kids enrolled in activities. I really have 5 tips for 5 reasons why your kid needs to be coachable, and then 5 tips for parents. And they will kind of collide a little bit. And I think that I kind of have the authority to speak on this topic because my kids have been playing football for years. For almost 8 years. So, you know, I have been that football mom for, this is my 8th season for a set of twins. And if really one year, last year, one was on varsity, one was on JV, I was kind of like a double mom. So if you want to throw 9 in there. Shelby, you'll hear in the background, is playing with her toys, and that's what she does best in the morning when I'm filming a video. So, I have seen all kinds of things sitting in the stands. Sitting in there before game time is one of my favorite times. I usually get there early because I like to observe. I like to see what's going on. I feel it. Who do you have, Mushy? We name all our toys so she knows which one to go get. Gosh, guys, give me this thing. But I like to watch the parents and I like to watch the kids warm up and just kind of take in the atmosphere. I did the same thing when our daughter was on the drill team and I was there on Friday nights to watch her dance. I still took in the whole atmosphere and it was quite interesting what you see. But I have also been on the sidelines of practice every now and then. I don't go very often because I want the coach to do their thing. I don't think that parents need to be all up in the coach's business, and we need to kind of give them freedom. Mind you, I'm going to put a little disclaimer here. If you ever suspect that your child is actually being abused, not just you're offended because the coach told them to stop it, then take action, definitely. If you think your child is being mistreated, and I don't mean that they don't get enough playtime or they're not playing the position you think they should play, I mean physically, emotionally mistreated, then definitely take action. Other than that, you need to step back. These are my top 5 tips for parents, and I'm going to do them first, and then I'll go in and explain kind of a little bit more in depth as to how to make sure your kid is coachable and trainable and why they need to be. My biggest tip for parents is do not play devil's advocate. Do not play devil's advocate. Your child is not the star of the team. You might think they are. They might be the star of the team in your house, but they are not the star on the team of that football team. They may make great plays, but they can't do it by themselves. Otherwise, they're going to go play tennis. If they want to play a sport where they don't have to learn teamwork, how to play with each other. Oh my goodness. So don't play devil's advocate. Don't go to the coach and say, hey, I didn't like that you called this play, or hey, my son's not getting enough play time, or hey, why are you doing this? Leave the coach alone. They have all these other kids that they are worried about. They do not have your little Johnny right there in front of them constantly. I promise you, I guarantee you that is the fact. You might wish that they would. Who doesn't want their kid to have a lot of play time, field time, game time? We all do. But they're not the only one on the field. Tip number 2, stand behind the coach and the decisions that they make. Again, go back to the disclaimer that I just gave you earlier if you need to. But if your kid's coach, I always say your coach because they're kind of my coach too. If your kid's coach is saying, hey, you need to sit out, I'm going to put in this person, it's because they see a bigger picture. There's so many also UIL standards and bylaws and all this other stuff of everyone gets so many plays. Varsity level is the only level that is different. I think they still have to have so many plays before they actually letter in a sport, but they are not guaranteed so many plays. Usually JV and below, at least JV down through middle school, in football, they are allowed so much game time. They are almost required so much game time per player. Everyone gets to play. It's not the same for varsity. And rightly so. You need to earn that. That Friday Night Lights is a big deal, and you need to earn your playtime. So stand behind your coach, not only in the decisions they make, but when your child is complaining about practice or about whatever, stand behind the coach. It will go further than you playing devil's advocate and running to the coach and complaining. Your child should not be entitled, and you should not be either as a parent. My third tip, ready? Root for all the players, even when they make a mistake. Even when they make a mistake. If you cannot understand that them learning to play on a team and learning to follow a coach's instructions and orders and learning from the mistakes they made is not building them for a future in the workforce, no matter what they decide to do, even if they're wanting to run their own business, guess what? We all make mistakes. We all have somebody else we have to listen to and follow, and we might not agree with, but we're going to do it. This is the perfect time for them to learn those things underneath your wing and underneath a coach's wing. Learning how to follow instructions, challenge themselves often. The coach is going to challenge your child as a player. Allow that to happen. Allow it to happen. It is happening for their character, and it is happening in honing their skills for that particular sport. My fourth tip is don't talk negative about the coach or players to anyone ever, especially the coach. Do not talk negative about your child's coach, ever. If you're going to do it in your own home, maybe to your spouse, but not with your children around where they can hear it. That has just as much of a negative impact as a mother complaining about the father to the child. All you have done now is demeaned the father and gave that child a perspective that they probably didn't have in the beginning. And now they have lost respect for that father, maybe even the mother. Never talk negative about your child's coach, ever. Keep it out of your mouth. Go back to the disclaimer if you have to, but still do not talk negative about that coach in front of your child, in front of your athlete, because you are just completely undermining their authority and their ability to actually coach your kid. My fifth tip for parents is to finish what you start. Have your child finish what they start, even if they're struggling in the sport. And I say this from experience. Our children know when you start something, you're going to finish it. You're not going to quit. You're going to finish your commitment. Then at the end of that commitment, if you reevaluate and you realize this really isn't for me, then you can move forward and go to something different. Then you move. Why do we do that? Why do we teach our kids that? Because they're going to have to do that in the real world. Don't quit your job till you have another one and you've made the decision that it's time to move. You stick with that commitment. I have shown that as an example to them when I quit teaching and went into what I'm doing now. They respected me for that. And my husband respected me for that. I can tell you I respect myself for that. Have them finish what they start. I do tell you that from experience. One of our twins, probably 3 years in a row in football, had said, probably at the beginning of the year when he was being challenged to learn a new position or to maybe not be the starter, whatever it might be, he kind of didn't understand a coach's perspective and said, I'm not going to play next year. okay, well, we'll talk about it at the end of the season. In the back of my head, I was crushed because I was like, oh, he loves the sport so much and it's good for him. I can tell you every time within 2 weeks of him saying, I'm not going to play next year, he said, I am going to play next year. And it's because he pushed through whatever wall it was he was against. And if you let your child who is going against this wall, and it's usually a wall of resistance of something, learning something new, learning a new skill, maybe learning how to work underneath a new coach, whatever it might be, push through it. Let me tell you how much their confidence soars. Their confidence and their courage and their resistance lowers to change. It is the most beautiful thing to witness as a parent and to see it in other players on the field as well. So this is what your child, if you really want to teach your kids how to be a productive citizen in the future and to really understand some things without knowing they're learning, put them in a sport. And when I say put them in a sport, put them in something that they have to not only commit to, they have to kind of sacrifice for, they have to give time outside of regular hours for, and have to learn how to take direction from somebody else besides you and just their teacher. I'm telling you, it builds character, a character trait that can't be built unless it's in something. Band is a great example if you are not into sports. Any sport, any team player sport especially. And this is why, because the first thing they're going to learn is not to be entitled. They are not entitled to be on that field the whole game. They are not entitled. They lose that. They have to share that playtime. And it's fabulous for them to learn that. Yes, I have my notes because I wanted to be pretty precise this time. They learn respect for authority outside of your home. I can tell you that I have seen kids on the field respect that coach more than they respect their own parent. And that's sad. But of course, every home is different and parents allow different things. So learning how to respect an authority that's outside of your home is a big deal. And they don't always get that opportunity unless they're in an extra activity. The third thing they're going to learn is leadership skills. Not by being a leader, but by watching a leader. And when they sit there and they watch that coach and they see the interactions from the players to that coach, I can tell you both of my kids at one point said they wanted to be a football coach. Now they've changed their mind because they realized you can't just coach, you also have to teach a class because that's just how the education system works. And they're not up for that. They don't want to be a teacher. They just want to be a coach. So, but they had that desire because they saw those leadership skills in that coach and they wanted them themselves. And I can tell you that they use them now in their performance course and their PC and football practice. Because they are varsity, they are seniors, they use their voice and they help that coach and they get everybody going, and it's a pretty fabulous thing. I don't know what that camera's doing. The fourth thing that they're going to learn is how to be a team player. Being a team player is so big because they can't just be stuck in themselves and worrying about their own abilities. They have to learn to use their abilities with somebody else and make them come together as one, as a cake almost. A cake is not good without the frosting, so that's a team player, cake and frosting. And the fifth thing that they're going to see is the end result of hard work. The end result of hard work. And that might be the end of a season. It might be at the end of a game. One of the twins had a interception at the end of a game last year, and it was pretty amazing. We were already winning, but it sealed the deal, and it was just neat as a parent to see, and it was neat to hear other parents see it and experience it. It was fun to watch the action on the field between him and the coach and his teammates. So So yes, I truly believe that every child should become some form of an athlete or in some kind of extracurricular activity where they have to be responsible for something other than themselves for all those reasons. Plus, it builds memories that they can look back on for years. They might be Al Bundy and remember that state championship for years and years and years. Or they might just say, hey, you remember that game where we played that and this happened? Or we were on the bus home and there was an ice fight and the coach got mad and yelled at us because he got hit in the head with a piece of ice. True story. Whatever it may be, encourage your kids to go out there and give it their all. Be the one that's their cheerleader, but encourage them to grow, because all you're going to do is help them in the future when they go and get a job. You might be sitting here thinking, oh, but my little kid's a baby. We've got years to worry about that. No, you don't. There's plenty of activities. There's soccer. There's Little League soccer. There's Little League football. There's Little League basketball. There's all kinds of baseball camps. Get your kid involved in something outside of your home and outside from underneath you as in your husband or wife, outside of that parent authority, and put them underneath another authority. Thing is, when they're little, you're there. You're there for every practice. You kind of have to be. Now we step back. I step back and let the coach do what he's got to do. My kids know, don't come to me complaining about your coach. If they're hurting you physically or even emotionally, come talk to me. Let's talk it out. It might be not exactly what you think it is, especially the emotional part. Just because he hurt your feelings doesn't mean he's emotionally abusive. It just means you're probably a little sensitive and you got your feelings hurt because you got put in your place. I'm one of those mom that will tell you like it is, because I want my kids to be the best they can be. And as a parent, I want to be the best parent I can be. And football has helped that in many ways. So that is my video for today. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.